All right. Good morning, everybody. Another episode of the Keep Going podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. This is episode 150 today, so I'm going to kick it over to Jackie Tripp.
How we doing? I'm in Maine today, just like our guest Carly. I don't have the pleasure of sitting with her, but this is a special episode. Carly, I've known Carly since she was in 8th grade, I think. Grew up playing AU basketball with her. She went to Westford Academy, and now she's in her senior year at Bowdoin, where coincidentally my twin sister just got her job. So I'll probably be doing a lot of listening today because I've had the pleasure of knowing and watching Carly through the years, but I'm very excited to have her on today.
I love it, Jackie, and I appreciate the intro there. Dave, what does 150 episodes mean to you, man?
Oh man, it means a lot. I think just having you guys on and continuing to show up and bringing on all these special guests. I think it's more about the guests than us for sure. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and another episode.
I completely agree. And nothing honors it more than Jackie being away from her desk, walking on camera, because that is what we want to do. We really encourage that on the podcast. And I love that she's doing that this morning. All right. In all seriousness, Carly, it's episode 150. I don't know you. I've never met you before. But like I said in the prelude, you're a really big deal. Tell me when you got the basketball in your hand.
Oh, wow. Well, first, thanks for having me. This is awesome. You guys do great stuff, so I'm excited to be
Thank
here.
you. We appreciate
that. Gosh, I feel like I've had the basketball in my hand forever, but I think it was around like second or third grade. My dad actually ran the like little kid league or skill sessions in my town, and then also played a bunch of other sports growing up, played soccer all through middle school, all through high school too, but always really gravitated towards basketball. Probably decided late middle school, early high school I wanted to play in college and made it happen. So I'm really excited about being at Bowdoin. It's been the best 4 years. I can't wait to have one more season with my best friends.
I'm about to say that's coming up this winter. How is the team looking? How's the vibes? How are the vibes?
Vibes are good. We're in the middle of preseason right now, so a couple more weeks of early conditioning and lifts and pickups, and then we'll be able to hit the ground running with our coaches on October 22nd, which is really exciting. But we're looking good. It's a great group. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm a D3 guy as well. I'm a big D3 person.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of D3 players and coaches on. Let me start with this. Why did you end up going NCAA Division III? And was there any other schools in the mix during your recruiting process that you considered?
Yes, I will say I was pretty picky. I I liked what I liked. I feel like I knew what I didn't like. So my list was short, but it was all schools that I really liked and could see myself going to. Came on my visit to Bowdoin and just loved it. I loved the people. I loved the school. I loved the campus. And then we played pickup, and it was the most competitive pickup that I had played. But then the ball stopped bouncing and everyone was best friends again. And I think that like dynamic is something you probably don't get at every school. I also like to win, and Bowdoin has a tradition of excellence, a tradition of winning, has gone to the national championship game multiple times, the most NESCAC championships in the conference. I wanted to go to a place that I knew would help me be successful in that way. And now we're back-to-back NESCAC champions over the last 2 years. So I'm glad that that one worked out as well. There were definitely some other schools I was looking at, but in the end, Bowdoin just totally took the cake. I think it encompasses the best of academics, athletics, and people.
And Carly, you're being very modest. I mean, the NESCAC has been called, I work in recruiting, so NESCAC is basically the Ivy Juniors of high academic school. So like the fact that you're there having a lot of success, on and off the court. And I love what you said about, your best friends are out there. I think that's a big part of it. All right. The biggest monkey in the room is this though. Do you think that your school name is the most often pronounced wrong school in the country?
Oh, that's a funny question. I don't think I've ever been asked that, and I think it's probably right. Yes. No one knows how to say it.
I have people in my world talk about the NESCAC schools, and I hear Bowdoin more than you have any idea.
Oh,
It's bad. It's bad.
Bowdoin.
Yeah, not
You
good.
get it all, except
right.
Bowdoin.
Well, I'm glad Bowdoin has been a great fit for you. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, when you first arrived on campus, how did you transition into it, and what advice would you give to someone that is going through that process of the recruiting process and transitioning into a new chapter in their life?
Yeah, it was hard. I like can't I mean I loved it. I remember actually I went into my coach's office, Megan Phelps, who is unreal, and I'm sure we'll talk
Shout her
about
out.
her
Shout her out.
later, but she is something else. She's so good at what she does. But I have a very vivid memory of sitting in there and being like, I just think Bowdoin is like the perfect place for me. And I'm the perfect fit for Bowdoin. Like I love it here. And I did. I loved it. But it was also my first time away from home. I'd never been away from my parents and my brother before. I was living on my own new place. So that took a little bit of time for me to get used to. And I think the biggest thing that you can look for in the recruiting process for that is just going to a place that you feel like the people around you are going to help support you and get you through that. So I knew that on my visit, the women that I met on the team were going to be those people for me. They were those people for each other, and you could see that. And then also, like I said, Coach Meg is somebody that will be in my life forever. She will come to my wedding. She will always be there. And she's somebody that I feel like I can go to with anything. So I think having that mentor at your school is also something that you just, you'll never take for granted again once you have it.
Yeah. And athletes listening, I, once again, our dynamic is players, coaches, and parents, right? Even parents listening today, it's not always about the academics and the athletics and the finances. That's probably the big three.
Right.
I'd say the one that you really have to look into is the people. Like, are they going to be bought into your kid? Are they going to be bought into you? If you get that vibe, you're definitely in the right spot. You're definitely in the right place. Yeah, you'll have to put some work in and improve it, but I think it sets you up for success. I love it's going to help me later on in life piece. I think that's what we're all looking for. All right. Well, I always give Jackie crap because I'm from Chicago and she's from Boston. And I always say that she has a lot of Rajon Rondo tendencies. Give me a player that you compare yourself to on and off the court.
Oh, okay. I would love to compare myself to Georgia Amore.
Mhm.
She's definitely who I like strive to play like. She's short, she's super smart. She plays with her head and her brain more than she plays with her size, which is something that I try to emulate. Um, but I think she is one so talented, but I also think that her growth over the her 4 years of college just showed that she worked so hard to get where she ended up going. And I think that there's just no replacement for hard work. So I really admire her in that way. So Georgia Amore, she can score the ball, she can assist the ball, she gets like a bunch of rebounds too. I don't know how she's sneaking in there and doing that, but yeah, I think she's awesome.
I like that answer. And I like Dave's question before about more of the transition side of things. Once again, you're in the NESCAC. I mean, you're smart, like you're intelligent, but it's not just that. You have to work hard in the classroom as well. For my athletes and parents that are looking more at that route, I mean, what do they not tell you in admissions? Like, what is the toughest thing?
Oh gosh, I think that maybe the toughest thing is just that the work gets harder in the way of like you have to really like critically think. I think that's one of the best parts about going to a liberal arts institution is that you're really being taught the soft skills that might not come as easily to everybody as maybe some of just like learning, memorizing would. So I think you learn how to learn quickly, learn in different ways. And you maybe don't get that at a bigger state school where you're studying something really specific and you're just kind of learning the hard skills that go along with it. But I think that putting in the time and effort to learn the softer skills is really what's going to translate to life after school.
Give me your biggest one.
Oh, communication
Yeah.
with other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that Bone Women's Basketball has maybe taught me more than just in the classroom, but being on top of your work, being able to communicate with professors, being able to communicate with your peers who maybe have different beliefs or ways of life that you do. I think that's something that I've learned at Bowdoin that I wouldn't get maybe anywhere else.
Yeah, I think being in recruiting, I had an athlete the other day that is a Division II NAIA kind of type player, Texas guy, catcher, really, really good. And we get on the phone and he's like very quiet with me right away. And I'm like, what happened? He's like,
Yeah.
I got to talk to one of my dream schools over the weekend, and a lack for better words, I wasn't ready. And he couldn't communicate with the coaches, and we did a lot of mock calls, and I kind of talked him off the ledge. My point is, like, that communication and that social cue and that social skill set, I mean, that's big. If you don't know how to talk to people, if you're kind of just buried in your phone and you're just doing things by yourself, it's not going to help you. Do you feel like you being a little bit more social than maybe the average athlete has helped you?
Yeah, I think so. I like being social. I like meeting new people. I try to say hi to most people on campus that I know all the time. But I think that being social and being open and maybe a little more vulnerable with people is a skill that can also be learned. I feel
Yeah.
like that's something I've gotten better at through my time at Bowdoin. I wouldn't say in the beginning I wanted to talk too much about how I was feeling all the time, and I think now I've kind of grown into a place where I feel more comfortable doing that with people, my teammates, my coaches, my family. So I think, yes, my social background as maybe a human that I've always had has helped me, but I also don't think that you can't get better at it.
Yeah. Jackie came off of mute. The second I talked about, the second we started talking about talking to strangers, Jackie came off of mute. That's pretty normal. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, you've always, I think it's a lost art sometimes that we find in young athletes. As I've gotten older too, I've realized that it's a lost art to just be intentional with your words. You've always done that, Carly, and you've definitely done right by talking to strangers, because Caroline called me at after one of her first days at Bowdoin. I think you already heard the story, Carly, but I just want to share with everyone. Caroline was walking through one of her first days of work at Bowdoin recently, and one of the gentlemen who was walking her through the locker rooms, they were in the women's locker room. He had no idea that Caroline and Carly were good friends, and he pointed to Carly's locker, to her name, and was like, "She's gonna be a really good help for you." And Caroline was like, "Yeah, I know." So that just goes to show you that the people up there definitely think that of you too, because they had no idea you even knew Caroline, but they knew that you'd be helpful to her regardless.
It's one of those moments where you feel like it's scripted.
Yeah,
Like that was so not scripted, but like what a great kudos and
it was
compliment to
perfect.
you. Yes, exactly. And I guess that takes me perfectly into our preface of the podcast. I mean, you come on here, you have not stopped smiling the last 15 minutes, which I love that. Like I can see that you're that light for a lot of people. Where was the keep going moment in this? Tell me about your keep going moment, something that should have knocked down the average person that you got through.
Yeah, I think my hardest time came last fall, like around this time actually. I I'm someone that works really hard, and over the summer had done kind of my usual training, maybe a little bit more than I was supposed to. And got into the fall and was having a lot of pain in my hip, ended up having a stress fracture in my hip, which was a bummer. Found out right before we started season. I think I got crutches probably like 3 days before we started. Um, and I had never been injured to that point. And basketball is something that I love and is pretty much the number one priority in my life behind my relationships with my friends and my family. So, and school. Sorry, I should add school in there too. But um I just had the thing that I loved taken away, and I just didn't really know how to act. Like, I didn't know how to go through this part of my career without basketball and having to watch from the sideline and lead from the sideline in a place that's just not as comfortable for me. And I think it pushed me to grow. I would not be the leader and the friend that I am now without that time in my life. It pushed me to really learn how to lead from the sideline, which is a place I'm not as comfortable compared to on the court. I'm a point guard, so I've always been someone that's communicating with people on the court, but having to do it off was a little bit different. And like I said, I think now I'm a better teammate, I'm a better friend, I'm a better basketball player because of that time being out.
Yeah, I know that one, I appreciate you sharing that. I know that probably wasn't the best time in your career, but you got through it. Second thing, we've had injuries on this podcast. We've had a lot of injured guests prior. Can you pinpoint one thing? Was it like a moment where you're like, oh, come on, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna get through this. Like, what was that one moment for you?
That's funny. This is like really small. I think about this moment a lot. It was just kind of funny. We do a drill where it's called pressure free throws. So you have to make free throws. If you miss them, like
My PTSD is
at a
coming
really
in from
wrong.
eighth
Yeah.
grade AAU basketball. This is not
Oh,
good.
totally.
I can't do it this morning, Carly. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And at that time, I was still on crutches, but I got to go shoot a pressure free throw for my team. I wasn't warm. Whatever. So I go out and I just like hit it. Like, you always have to tell yourself you're like the best free throw shooter in the country. You're gonna make them. And made it. No one had to run, but like I was just like, yeah, like it all comes back. 4 weeks of no basketball doesn't erase, 4 years of hard work, and it just can't go away that quickly.
Yeah. I'm gonna kick it over to Dave for the mailbag here shortly. But I love that piece in a professional setting and in a sports setting that even at your lowest, quote unquote, you're telling yourself that you're the best.
Yeah.
And I think that comes off sometimes as egotistical or you're too much about yourself. No, you wanted what's best for the team always. So you had to work to make sure you were in the best headspace to be the best. And I think people often kind of miss that, like that quiet confidence. I'm the best player in the gym and I'm going to do it for my people. I think is so strong. Jackie, go ahead.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, confidence comes from evidence. Do you have evidence that can back that up? Have you put the time and the work in and given like I say that to myself all the time, do I have the evidence to be confident right now? Like the only antidote to that is action, and you've put the action in for since I've known you. You've every single summer you're at the Millworks, you're at the gym, you're studying. I remember when you called me, Carly, I think it was your junior, your senior year of high school, around like after peak COVID, and you were just having a really hard time, and you were like, this is hard. I'm doing the same thing. It's different because of COVID. And I just remember telling you that it's hard. And I feel like being able to see you at Bowdoin every single time I talk to you and hear how much you love the coach, hear how much you have good teammates, it always makes me so happy. And I don't even know if you remember that phone call and that text message 5, 6 years ago, but
Yep.
I always think of it. I'm always just so proud to see where you've come from, and it's all like how far you've come, and it's all because of the work you've put in. And also, I just have to shout out Carly's family. If I was a basketball coach and I could like AI the perfect family, like I would want to recruit, it would be the Davey family. You also have incredible parents and incredible brother that have done a good job too. So kudos to everyone.
Let's call that out, and I'll let Carly talk about her family, but let's call that out from a recruiting standpoint. Your family is a huge part in it. If you could easily ruin this for your kid, or you could make it a really, really great experience for your kid. Parents out there, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. But yeah, Carly, talk about your great family. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the best way I can describe my family is, and my parents in particular, is that I never worry about what my parents are going to say to me after a game. I never have that thought. They they make the drive to Maine every weekend or wherever the games are, they're always there. And no matter how I perform, no matter what the score is, I never am afraid to go talk to them afterwards. I think from driving me everywhere to coming and supporting me now, like I cannot thank them enough for everything that they've done. And they love coming to the games and seeing the other parents that they're friends with. And I know that they're gonna have their own kind of sadness that comes with me finishing my career in a different way than the sadness that I'll have, but they have been there every step of the way. Yeah, they're the best. And my brother was also a college athlete. He played tennis at Loyola, Maryland, and I don't think I would have as much competitiveness in my body if it wasn't for him. Lots of games in the driveway, lots of me trying to hit a tennis ball back to him, but not doing all that well at it. But he is also something else. I love him. I look up to him in a lot of ways too. So they're the best. Can't say enough good things. Love them so much.
I appreciate you sharing. That's awesome. Dave, roll, kid.
Yeah, yeah, that's special that you have those people around you in your life. My first question is when you do make a mistake, as we all make mistakes and errors, maybe in a sport or in life, and you're surrounded by people, maybe someone reacts differently or feels down and you feel the pressure from them. How do you keep believing in yourself right after that mistake when you feel that pressure from other people?
Hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of that comes back to confidence and just like a next play mentality. I think confidence comes from your preparation and your thoughts. So, first, you got to think back like, have I done the work to put myself in a position where I can get over this mistake quickly? And if the answer to that is no, then you need to work harder. And if the answer to that is yes, then it's all about what you're telling yourself in that moment. So, yes, I've done the work so I can just move on to the next play. But if you haven't done the work, if you haven't done the hard work, then the first answer in that flow chart is no, and you just have to get back into the gym and work harder. So I think it is about what you're telling yourself, but if you haven't done the first fundamental piece of it, then that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I love that answer. Yeah, you have to put in the work, period. If you want to be good at anything, I think. It doesn't just come right away, or it may, but it will eventually catch up to you. My second question is, like, what advice would you give to someone that may be feeling mentally drained or unmotivated at the moment right now?
Yeah. It's a hard feeling to be in. I feel like you get that in basketball in the season when it's January and it's cold and it's long. I think the best thing that you can do, honestly, is talk out loud to somebody about it. I think trying to keep those feelings inside is only makes it worse, only makes you spiral, maybe get to a worst case scenario that has a very low likelihood of happening. So I think grabbing someone that you're close with, whether that's a teammate or going to your coach's office or going to a friend or a parent or somebody who's outside the program can also be helpful and just kind of speaking out loud. I find that sometimes when you do that, you come to your own realization of, oh, maybe everything's not quite as bad as I've worked it up in my head. And I also think that if you're feeling that way in an off-season point, that taking a little bit of time off is never a bad thing either. I feel like there's always a week or two in the summer that I personally feel pretty drained from our summer workouts and work and everything else that's going on. And I never think it's a bad thing to just have a week or two that you kind of step away, let yourself regather, and be excited to go back to the gym again. And then when you get back, when you hit the next week, it all comes back and all feels a lot better. So I don't think taking time away, in a time when you're able to do that is bad at all.
Yeah, I think that's really important that like just connecting with someone because usually if you talk to someone, usually they've gone through that as well, and you can relate on that connection as well. My last question is there anything that we missed that you would like to say to our audience today about mental health or something? Yeah, anything that you would like to say. Platform's yours.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with mental health, mental well-being for me is that it continues after the ball stops bouncing. So if you can invest in that during your time at a school where hopefully you have tons of resources, tons of support, tons of people around you that are willing to help you, if you can use all of your resources and all of your people while you have them, it's going to make your post-grad life so much more fulfilling and enjoyable because that doesn't mean that you're never going to have hard times or adversity post college, of course, but you're going to have the toolkit to attack those and be able to just move beyond.
Yeah.
As always, man, fantastic questions. This is what I'm going to say. This is an all-timer today. I don't really get speechless much, but I don't really have much to say. Like, I just want to let parents and athletes and coaches know today, you are someone that is so beyond their years in this. Like, for you to come on, what, are you 21 now?
22, just turned 22.
22? All right. Cue the T Swift.
She's
My
a
point
huge
is
Swiftie.
that's Big Swifty.
Yes. It's been a
Okay.
good week here.
I love that. Well, 22, love that. Just know you're way beyond your years in this.
Thank
And
you.
athletes, coaches, and parents today, this is a masterclass of what this looks like in the goods, the bads, the in-betweens. Amazing stuff. Jackie Tripp, take us home.
Yeah, I don't know if I could love a human more than I love Carly. I'm not surprised that she crushed it today. Again, like Pat said, this is a tool book for any person, honestly, just to hear how wise you are and articulate. I think the way that you approach basketball, school, friendships, and just life, I think anybody in any pocket or corner of life could take something from you. I mean, you make me a better person, you make your teammates a better person, and everyone in your life is lucky to have you. And I'm glad that this worked out and you were able to get on the podcast because I had no doubt in my mind that you wouldn't deliver.
Nice. Thank you.
Oh,
That's
of
so
course.
nice.
Of course. And
We
this
love
is
you.
we love you for sure. This is a major milestone for the Keep Going podcast. I remember I started this with an $8 mic 3 years ago in my Wrigleyville condo. And I love everything that we're doing. But Dave said it perfectly, and Jackie has said it in the past. The guests are why we keep doing this every Sunday. This is my church. This is my baby. This is something I really love doing. And shout out Keep Going Nation. We're going for at least another 150 more. So love everybody out there.
Love you guys.
Carly,
Go
Davey,
Pats.
thank you. And go Pats. Bears are on the bye. Go Pats. All right, everybody. Keep going. We'll talk soon.